Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. We've got a jam-packed episode for you today, along with 3 brand new decks, just like always. One is W's deck. You know, every time W releases a deck, we cover W's decks here on this channel. We also have Den Surfer, which is the highest win rate surfer in the game right now, and it took some doing, but I found a non-surfer Shaw deck. 2 of the 3 decks today are Shaw decks so that you can get your weekend missions done. We've got a bundle guide, we've got a new giveaway, and so much more. Let's get going. But first, please hit that sub button. We do constant giveaways. We have 3 new proven decks every single weekday. We bring you more decks, more information than anyone in the Marvel Snap community. Subbing to us is totally free. It helps us grow. We're trying to hit 7K subs. Help us out. Hit that sub button. We'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you much. We are giving away the $70 Ringing in Your Ears bundle along with our friend Super Tech God. The giveaway will be on the Snap Judgments video releasing this weekend. You have to sub to Marvel Snap Zone's YouTube. Sub here also because we're announcing the winner here. Comment on the episode of Snap Judgments coming out this weekend. Sub here, sub there. Be following Super Tech God on Twitch, and you are entered to win a giant gold bundle. I'm going to tell you what I think you should do with that giant gold bundle later on this video. This is a really, really high value bundle, and hopefully you join and win. We also maintain a giveaway sheet. It's in the description to this video. It is every giveaway that is currently live and active in Marvel Snap. So make sure you check that out. We get nothing out of it. It's not, we're on the sheet, but like we're not advertising anything. We're just trying to help you find some cool people to follow and get some cool stuff in the game. All right, we begin as always with questions of the day. From there, we're going to look at W's deck. It is twitch.tv/WStreaming or W Marvel Snap on Twitter. W is one of the best players in the history of Marvel Snap. W has created from the ether 2 decks that you have guaranteed played and heard of. The first of, well, 3, I think, at this point, actually. The first of those decks is the original Doom Wave, back when Wave had its original ability. He was the player who started doing the I play Wave and then nothing else, and then I play Doom and She-Hulk in the non-Death Shell, which was a meta deck until Wave's functionality changed. Later on, W was the creator, or the person who put back into the meta after the Psylocke Professor X Spider-Man decks. Those decks were W's creation. He won a major tournament with it, and then all of a sudden the deck was everywhere. It was called W Comfort First, and that ended up his deck. And W's third major deck is that Guardians deck, the one everyone hates right now. The Alioth Professor X thing that's running Medusa. That's W's deck as well. He is a shaper of the meta. We've got his Infinite deck this season. You won't want to miss it. From there, we're going to do a bundle review. We're going to look at the Oh No, He's Hot bundle, and we're going to compare it to the Sugar Spice and Everything Ice bundle, the one you should buy. So we're comparing the current bundle to the one you should be saving gold for. Then we're going to look at the highest win rate surfer deck in the game from our friend Den. He is Marvel Snap Zone's lead writer. He does all the tier lists and writes a truly prolific amount and is the best coach in the game. You can check out his surfer deck, again, the current highest win rate. And because I wanted another version, we've got King Venom, another awesome streamer who you can check out on Twitch. We've got King Venom's surfer deck as well. Then a viewer left 10 snap tips. We've covered one of them. We're going to go over the other 9 tips in this video. They're really useful. He's a top 1,000 level player. Really cool dude, one of my favorite new commenters. And finally, we are going to take a look at a deck that I found. I wanted to find a Sebastian Shaw deck that didn't run Silver Surfer. And, sorry, excuse me. Yeah, a Sebastian Shaw deck that didn't run Silver Surfer. Did I just click away and show you guys everything? Who knows? Whatever. If I did, you got to see a couple extra things. Whatever. You got that really cool mental rewind. All right. I went and found a Shaw deck that didn't run Surfer because I felt like it was important. It took forever to find because there are not any with win rates and large sample size. This deck has like an 80-something% win rate. It had a 90% win rate outside of being played during the hot location than an 83% win rate during the hot location. It ended up at almost exactly 60 games. I think it was like 61 or 62 games, which is a low sample, but you should be able to steal some cubes with it. And then finally, we'll close today's video with a look at the shop. All right, Matthew Payne asked whether Loki or Werewolf is a better card. So I'm pretty sure the answer is Loki, first off. Loki is an extremely powerful card, but Loki is an extremely powerful card in one deck. If you're talking about sheer power level, sheer impact on the game, Loki is one of the most impactful cards ever. Werewolf is not. Werewolf is just a great, great card. One of the best cards in the game currently, not ever. However, if you consider not just height but width, Werewolf is really good in a lot of decks. Werewolf is good in everything from Black Knight, Shuri Red Skull, to Bounce, to just generic on reveal stuff, to Surfer. Whereas Loki is its own deck. So you could argue that Werewolf is better, and that Werewolf fits in a wider variety of things. I think Loki is a higher ceiling card, a better overall card, but if you take the width of the pool, not just the depth of the pool into account, I think Werewolf has a real claim for a card you would want more right now. Shakna wants to know the first card I remember everyone underrating, and it was Leader. The very first card that I think everyone was wrong about was Leader. When I first was in Series 3, Leader was considered just sort of an extra also ran card. We're talking about the first November of the game's global release. And within a month after the Leech combo, after it started going in Death Wave, it was one of the best cards in the game. So I think Leader, at its original ability, which was a 6/4 that copied every player opponent made the last turn of the game, was the best card in the game, and no one knew when I got there. I'm going to give you two more answers if that's not what you were looking for. I remember specifically not liking Thanos upon release. It actually took months, and our friend Elite Hassa pitching it to Lambie before Thanos ended up a real serious thing. Props to Torrican and a whole bunch of other people before the Thanos Lockjaw became good. But for like a month and a half, Thanos was just like, I remember Roy, my co-host on Snap Judgments, trying to play Thanos and me being like, it's just bad, don't bother. Obviously that was wrong. The last card that everyone was really, really wrong about and by underrating was Darkhook was thought to be okay. Like maybe it'll be okay with Rockslide, but Rockslide was considered one of the worst cards in the game. Oops. Korg was considered like just a worse Iceman, and everyone's like, why would I play these mid cards for a to make this other mid card better? It's about a year later, and Darkhawk's been in the meta since. Those are the cards people underrated. Shaka asked my thoughts on the Make Me a Deck feature. I think it's great. I think that it's coming from data is really good. It helps if that data updates really quickly because like it's putting America Chavez in a lot of decks it shouldn't. You can tell when people are using the feature when you're like, what the hell is the new America Chavez doing in that deck? It's pulling the data and stats from the old America Chavez where she went in every deck. I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel threatened by it. It's never gonna be at the cutting edge. It's drawing from old data and large sample sizes, which is really useful, right? If you're showing the same decks as everyone else, I feel like it's not ideal for you, but it does mean that the players who don't watch content, i.e., if you're not watching this video, if you're not engaged in the Snap community, but you just want to have a good thing to play, it's gonna give you a good thing to play. Also, it's fun to screw around with. I like have been throwing like random combinations of cards and hitting fill out my deck and seeing what it comes up with. So I think it's a really cool feature. It's really well implemented thus far. There's a few annoyances like put my favorite variants in the damn deck, please. But overall, I'm happy. Finally, if you'd like to have your questions read out in tomorrow's video, not tomorrow's video technically, today is Friday, which means that the next video will go live on Sunday. Just leave a question in the comments and I'll add it to the list and I'll get to it relatively soon. Cool. The Monday questions, just so everyone knows, are going to be all blob centric. I have a whole ton of blob questions, and my blob questions are going to be Monday's video before Tuesday's blob centric video. Our first deck, W's deck, is BKBK is what he named it. So this is a Black Knight deck, obviously. It has several ways to win. The easiest of those that anyone can see is you ignore a Black Knight. If you play Magic, then you play Ms. Marvel. Sorry, excuse me. You can play Magic, and Ms. Marvel, and then pass 6, and then you can drop She-Hulk and Infinite. And that's going to win you a fair amount of games with Marvel Snap. That's 30 power, and then your Sunspot gets 6 power on top of that. You could also as you wanted, drop a Lady Sif and drop a Ghost Rider late in the game, right? On turn 6, if you Lady Sift off that Infinite earlier, you can pass 5, drop a She-Hulk and Infinite right there on turn 6 without needing magic. You can, if you have Black Knight, get an indestructible 10, 14, or 20 power card by having Black Knight out and using either Blade or Lady Sif, because the new Black Knight is phenomenal and one of the better cards you'd ever want to see. Armor helps you with that Destroy matchup while also protecting when you have to play that She-Hulk or Giganto out early. Sunspot gets real big, real nice. Jeff is power where you need it, and Ms. Marvel is basically replacing Doom in this, right? You don't have a lot of stuff at the same cost, and as long as you're cognizant of it, Ms. Marvel is just saying, She-Hulk's now 15 power in the left lane, which seems like it's probably pretty damn good overall, right? This deck is fantastic, and if you have access to it, you should play it. If you don't have access to it, Black Knight is in spotlights with Iron Lad at the end of the month. Those are two of the very best cards in the game right now. I think Black Knight's something like top 20, and Iron Lad something like top 3 or 4. So if you can get those cards, you should. Ms. Marvel's also top 3 or 4, by the way. But Black Knight and Iron Lad are in the same spotlight with Celine at the end of the month. Save your spotlights. So you should have Black Knight for the Black Knight deck. As a general rule, you can play a high evolutionary version of this or a Double She-Hulk, different version without it, but that's not what we're talking about. Ms. Marvel can be any good 4, Super Skrull, Shang, Iron Lad, and there's some argument that Moon Girl would be pretty damn nice here. Jeff is just the best in slot 2. You can try Medusa. If you add Moon Girl, though, for Ms. Marvel, also add Quinjet for Jeff. W makes meta decks. We talked about that at the open. If you missed it, it's in the section where I go over all the things we're going to talk about today. I explained the 3 different meta decks that W has made. Every deck W made doesn't become meta, but I'm not bending against it with it. Turn 1 is Sunspot almost always. My Blade and Black Knight thoughts are you try and hold Black Knight if possible, unless you can protect it with armor, unless you're sure they're not playing Destroy, or unless you have everything already set up for the Black Knight combo, because you don't really want to get it Killmongered before you can use it, because when you can use it, it's game winning. Blade is another card you just sort of play whenever. You play Blade when you can and when the target is right. So I'm not going to talk about these cards again in this video. They make sense when they are right. Turn 2 is almost always armor for me, because armor means I can just drop Black Knight when I want. And we also have Jeff as a really good turn 2 play. If I armor, I tend to armor on Sunspot, obviously. Turn 3 is Sif. If in hand, the highest cost card you have is either Infinite or Giganto. If it's either Giganto or Infinite, I play Lady Sif. If not, I'm perfectly happy to just drop magic on 3. Turn 4 is Marvel or your Shard, or Ghost Rider if you know your opponent's not playing Shang. Like, Shang is in very few Destroy decks, and if you can bring back a 20 on turn 4, please feel free. Turn 5 is Marvel or Shard, or Ghost Rider if no Shang. You don't have to worry about Shang with the Shard, which is why you can just drop the Shard. Turn 6 is passed, and then She-Hulk and Infinite, or She-Hulk and Ghost Rider, as the case may be. You can skip 5 and make a reasonably powerful play on turn 6. That She-Hulk, remember, will be 1 if you passed 5, and then your Ghost Rider will bring something back on 6. Also, just dropping She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel, if you've got a really powerful board position otherwise, is quite damn strong. Like, if you played a Shard on 4, right, then dropping She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel on 6 is going to win you a lot of the time. Let's do a quick variant talk. We've got hips galore in this deck. I guess not galore. We got Sunspot, we got Jeff, we got Blade, we got Sif, we got Ms. Marvel, we got Giganto, and we got Infinite. 7 is a great number. We have the Jacinto Ghost Rider, my favorite armor. I don't know why I chose this magic. I have 3 different magics. I like this one. I'm going to get the Peach Momoko Black Knight at the end of the month if the hip doesn't come out yet. And I've got the Peach Momoko She-Hulk so that those two can be friends. Pretty happy with the way this deck looks. Really happy with the way this deck plays. I strongly urge you to try it out if you have access to it. Next up, the bundle in the shop right now is Oh No, He's Hot. This bundle is abysmal, atrocious, absolutely do not buy value. This might be the worst gold bundle they've ever ever given us. For 5,500 gold, you get a pretty cool Cyclops variant that I would otherwise like. Snappy Dresser is a title, a measly 600 credits, and 3,000 tokens. That's terrible. It's generally just atrocious progression. You don't even get a Series 5 card. You can get a Series 4 card for months and months of saving gold. Instead, please save for the end of the month. Spend a little bit if you have to. This is the best, as long as it comes out looking like this, the best gold bundle I believe they've ever given us. 7,500 gold. This is 6,000 collector's tokens, so for 2,000 more gold, double. And look, 600 credits to 7,000 credits for, again, 2,000 more gold. In addition, another variants that are not quite as good, but at least cute. Another variant, more boosters. It's just there's no reason at all on Earth to buy this, period. And then especially not as you compare it to the sugar, spice, and everything ice bundle, which is again double the tokens and God, I don't even want to like 12 times the credits for 2,000 more gold. You can get to this bundle, get to this bundle. That's why this bundle is why we're giving away that STG and I are giving away that other gold bundle at the beginning, because that gold bundle lets you basically save that gold till the end of the month and buy this. And if you can buy this, your progression just gets so much easier. This is a great bundle. Cool. By the way, December 23rd to December 31st and December 7th to December 14th. So don't be stuck and tricked early in the month. Get the great one later in the month. Huge PSA. Cool. Next up, we have Shaw Surfer. It's 72% win rate in 400 freaking games. This is Den's list. It's so good. This is so probably the best surfer in the game. I can't believe America Chavez is in it. I would have sworn Okoye would be better, but what the hell do I know, apparently. Chavez has like 3 really, really great hits in this deck. And then several other decent ones. Like Chavez hitting Brood, hitting Dakin, or hitting Shaw are all completely huge. Chavez hits Shaw, then all of a sudden he's a 3/8 upon playing. Chavez hits Dakin. He is, when the shard is killed, a 3/12, and it hits Brood, and that's 4/8/12 as well. Right there, plus the Surfer buff that's hopefully coming later, or the Killing Nova buff. So that extra 1 power really does matter, apparently. And so does the extra 1 power on Chavez. So cool. I'm glad Chavez has a home, because I thought they killed her, but apparently she's still decent. This deck is about growing multiple threats, right? Brood in 1 lane. If you get Brood plus a Nova is 9 power, plus a Surfer is another 6, that's 15. If you can copy Brood with Absorbman, that's great. If you can copy Dakin with Absorbman, that's great. You can make yourself a gigantic 8, 6, or 16 power Dakin that way. More if you get another buff with, say, Nova or Surfer before you kill your shard. Meanwhile, and you've got Nakia to help with that as well. Meanwhile, you've got Shaw that's very easy, 11, 15 power. This deck just puts a lot of power on the board, and it puts a lot of power on the board late, so it wins cubes in addition to games. I'm really, really, really happy that Dakin has another home outside of discard right now, and I'm happy it's Surfer. Dakin can go for something like Polaris or Maximus as necessary. If he does, Colleen becomes Okoye. Cool. Colleen is here because sometimes you don't want to play Killmonger, or on turn 5, you won't have Sarah and you want a 2 to play, right? So you can play Colleen. 4 power is a decent amount of power. Along with the 3, you can even play Dakin and Colleen, and hopefully you've got Forge and Nova out, so the shard is gone. It discards the shard. Dakin becomes an 8. You've now got 12 power play. It's a pretty good deal. So this is a really huge sample with a huge win rate. Den's been killing it lately. I think Den made the best deck in Marvel Snap. It's yesterday's video. This is another huge win rate, stellar deck. So way to go, being super hot with the really good stuff on Den's part. Turn 1 is Nova. Turn 2, if you have Shaw, you Forge. If not, you probably just drop America. Turn 3, you can also, if you don't have any of those cards, just drop Nova. Turn 3, if you drop Forge, it's Dakin or Shaw. If not, you're trying to play Nakia. Ideally, you're playing Nakia on 3, so then you could Forge and Dakin or Shaw on 4, which just makes them huge. If you Dakined Earlier, if you dock it on 3, not 2, excuse me, you can drop Shaw and the Shard here, assuming you have Killmonger in hand. Turn 5 is Sarah if you have it, and again, if not, then you're playing a 3 and Colleen. And then turn 6, you drop it all and just try and make sure Surfer is last, unless you're Killmongering last to get the Shard value. Because the extra 2 will become an extra 4 if you Surfer before you put the Nova power on it. And that's the deck. It's really, really simple to play. Honest to God, not a complicated deck to play. Really high win rate, really powerful. So, variant time. We've got the Midnight Suns Nova, one of my favorite variants. It's my only Nova, but I'm really happy with it. I've got the X-Force Forge. I'm hopefully trading that in for the Hellfire Gala. Jamie McKelvey, America Chavez looks so weird at this point in the deck to me. Noir Colleen. Noir is one of my favorites. We've got a Hip Brood. We've got a Hip Nakia, a Hip Killmonger, a Hip Dakin, and a Hip Sarah, which is gold, by the way, the Hip Sarah. So 5 hips, not as good as 7, but hey, not half bad. I do have Hip Surfer, but I like this other Surfer better. I really want Hip Absorb Man. I don't even know if it's in the game. The data mines say it is, but everyone else tells me it isn't, so probably not. While I bought this Shaw because I really, really like the pretty swirly energy, and Shaw has very few variants besides the one we otherwise get for free. But that's where we are. Well, not for free, excuse me. We get for having already bought the season. So use this deck for your weekend missions, and if you don't use this one, here is another version of um Shaw. This is King Venom's version. It's got a 67, 60, something like that percent win rate with an even larger sample size of games. This one throws Elsa in because Elsa now works with Brood. If Brood is going to fill the lane, the original Brood will get the bump, which is pretty cool. Same thing for Sinister if they're filling the lane, so that's an extra +2 power there. You can also still fill lane with Dakin or Shaw to get their actual extra benefits. We've got Nakia here. Most of the rest of the deck is the same. Yeah, it just doesn't bother with a 4 and has an extra 2 instead. A very, very strong deck, and it's very cool. And it wins a lot, which is pretty nice. So you can try this version, and don't forget, we already did the alternate cards you can play in the deck earlier in the video. Tips from Chad Tompkins. Our friend Chad says, first, know the big plays for your deck, i.e., if you're playing a Spectrum in an ongoing deck, if you have a good curve and Spectrum in hand, then you should snap early. Same idea with the Surfer deck, to talk about something we just did. You've got a good curve, you've got Surfer, not in the far left position because Spider-Ham's a card. Feel free to snap early. You're trying to lock them in for more cubes. The exception to this is decks that are relying on control encounters. You're gonna have to snap and retreat a fair amount, right? Like that's just part of snap if you're playing optimally. But if you're playing a deck that's relying on cards like Shang-Chi, to steal cubes, you don't want to snap early because you want to try and bait them into snapping. That's the fundamental exception to that rule, but you can worry about that once you get more advanced. These are like beginner tips for climbing. Try to snap on turns 2 and 3 if possible. These turns are early enough that some players think they can pull off win with a less desirable hand, or and simply draw into it. This is especially valuable if you can block their draw. If you have your stuff, you want to snap around, for me, around turn 2, for most players around turn 3. Don't play into snaps because you think you can draw into it. Unless you have a reason to believe you're going to draw your combo, then please do not stick around when your opponent snaps you. You should be running for 1 cube if they snap you relatively early because they're doing so for a reason. A lot of earlier tips were how to read what that reason might be, whether it's a location, whether they played a card or you played a card that they will have an answer for, right? If you play Human Torch, for example, a lot of opponents will snap because they have Killmonger. If you're not planning on winning with that Human Torch, you can stay in. But know why they're snapping. You have to try and read that. Retreat basically anytime anyone snaps you on turn 5, unless you're damn sure you can win. You better have peak potential and or an answer to what they're doing, or they think they have an answer to what you're doing. If your deck is linear and obvious, they clearly have an answer. If you've got one lane that has Onslaught and Iron Man in it, right? And they snap you, just go. They have an answer. They're going to drop Enchantress. Unless you can counter that Enchantress, you need to go. Read what the snap tells you. Snaps are information. When try not to snap on turn 5. Most people will or should retreat. and it's better to generally take 2 cubes than one. There are exceptions to this. That is a different and longer video. We call it in my corner of the Discord world the turbo snap, where you basically boomer snap on 5 for specific reasons. We'll go over them in a later video. For now, as you're learning, it's best to avoid doing that. When you snap early because you have an advantage, do not stick around because you snapped. It's better to lose 2 cubes than 4 or 8. That is literally half the loss every time. You are not obligated to play through a game just because you snapped. You can raise and then fold. Be patient and click retreat later for the off chance your opponent retreats. Sometimes opponents retreat and you have no idea why. You just don't lose cubes that way, and it's pretty nice to not lose cubes when you would otherwise lose. And you just hit retreat later, and then instead of losing cubes, it loses nothing, right? Your opponent may not have had the Eliath, for example, and you should. So, personally, I never see Eliath, or I almost never see Eliath, because I always run if I think they should have it. I hit retreat later. If they don't have it, odds are they're retreating later too, and you just get away without losing any cubes. Retreat often and revel in your 4 and 8 cube wins. They make up for 3 and 7 1 cube losses each. You lose 3 1 cubes and then gain 4, congrats, you're up. If you lose 7 1 cubes and then win 8, congrats, you're up. That cube rate is more important than win rate for that exact reason in Marvel Snap. Players do not bluff. This is obviously not true, but it's nearly as good as true. Most of the time, someone snaps you, it's because their deck is either doing the thing or they have a tech beat to break yours from doing its thing. There is one exception where I personally snap. If I see Lamentis and I know my opponent doesn't know what I have, I will fairly often snap. They snap me back, I'm out. But like I will fairly often snap because they have to assume I have Death and Null now, right? If they don't know what I'm playing, and I just steal 1 cube almost no matter what I have. The other time I will snap on like a card like Lamentis is if I have Loki and I have Loki and a couple draw cards, because now I just have more cards than them. I have such a significant card advantage and such a significant economy advantage because of Loki. I feel very favored. There are occasional bluff snaps to that effect, but generally speaking, you don't want to do them. In Conquest, your bluff snaps become more dangerous, but on